been talking for a little bit. I want to know what do you guys think of the patch?
That's what I was trying to tell you.
For
See,
me, I don't know what I would say for it in a way because I don't play it.
well,
I would say
he's
it's
about to show you
a
what
good
June is
thing and a
about.
bad thing.
Watch, June used to be crazy with their damn moves, and now watch. I bet you her shit is just.
Like I said,
Wow.
as somebody who has only played Tekken 8, right? The game feels slightly the same.
That's you.
Oh shit! Damn, camera's on. Turn that off.
Yeah, I wonder what happens when you have somebody against the wall and you do that move with Steve now. If it doesn't stagger, I don't get any hits from that. That's wild. So I'm guessing the biggest thing is that like it's harder to kill people now. Of course, Echo.
Yep.
Of course you did that. Of course he fucking did that. Jeez. And at the high and some of the most abusive moves have been stopped, basically. Do you think they're gonna go too far with the nerfing?
Oh, she has one too?
Yes.
Do you think they're gonna go too far with nerfing the damage and like make it more like Tekken 7, I guess?
I would be surprised.
That's something we don't want though, right? We want a balance. We don't want it to be Tekken 7.
Yeah, you want to
go
keep things
back to
balanced.
it.
You want to keep things balanced, not one side everything.
Yeah.
The problem is sitting there trying to turn it into Tekken 7 is bad.
Everybody hated
like
that.
how
I agree.
Bungie did the Destiny 1 and made Destiny 2 into basically Destiny.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I like the heat mechanics. I like the fact that you have all these different moves, but like I like that you have more interactions because you know I come from oh god damn it, you're gonna die. Oh shit. How Sway? How? You ain't got the answer, Sway.
He's on 1 HP.
All right, one more interaction. One more.
God.
Oh,
You got to stand up and block that shit. You can't.
I didn't want to. I could have.
That's the only. You can't even roll out of it. You got to stand up and block it. Yeah, but I really once they get. I really was hoping they would like add a new.
That got nerfed.
All of that got nerfed, I see, because it used to take a lot off. Our magic did. Our magic used to do a lot of damage.
I was hoping they would implement a actual mechanic, like a defensive mechanic you can use with that involves a heat meter, but I don't think that's gonna happen. It could, but I think more interactions is better for the game just in general.
yeah.
Like if you play in Marvel vs. Capcom, then yeah, you can only get hit one time and then you die.
Couldn't get my kick in, damn it.
That is true. That is that. I'll say that is true. I never played the new one, but I played 3. That is true.
Oh yeah, no. Like you get, I mean, the like with NBC games and even like for the most part, tag games in general, even MK1, you get hit twice. You're just 50% of your health. You know what I'm saying? So like, I get them wanting to make it.
Sir.
Like, but you don't want to just have to make one. Like a game's boring when you're sitting there watching like an infinite like combo. You know what I'm saying? Like the only game, in my opinion, to ever like get it like correct is like Killer Instinct, right? Even when you get
They did not do it correct. No, they did not.
Listen to me.
No, they did not.
Listen to me.
No, I'm gonna call you out if you try it.
Okay, well, listen to what I'm gonna say before you do that.
I'm gonna listen and I'm gonna tell you how bad it is.
Killer Instinct, right? Even when you're getting hit, even when you're getting hit as the person in the combo, you have an opportunity to do something to break the combo. You know what I'm saying?
You act like Guilty Gear never came out with that.
I did they? I mean, there's a break.
It's called burst. There's
a burst, but in KI, it's like you have to know. It's a little bit more trickier in KI.
In right? KI 1, in the original Killer Instinct, you only had one chance. And Killer Instinct, the new version, they gave you multiple. Yes, that's a good idea, but again, it still came out incorrect when it first came out.
And I think
buggy when it first came out.
So I think
when season 2 came out, it was absolutely garbage because they then added gray health, which was terrible. And then they kept it and implemented in season 3, which is why I uninstalled.
But but me and you talked about this off cam, and I asked you, and I remember what you said, but I just wanted to ask you on camera. Basically, do you think if they implemented some kind of breaker that involved you giving up part of your meter to use in Tekken, would it be a good mechanic?
No.
So you telling me you would not sacrifice a meter for a counter?
I have that already in Guilty Gear, my guy.
But the thing is, though, Shadow, you gotta have like a lot of ways to get away from things. So say that.
It's
If you
called
want
learning how to block and learning how to tech grabs.
But you
that
act like that is literally a crippling. If you add that, that's like adding a handicap to a person who's not handicapped.
But you have a mechanic in Heat that is only for offense, and you can't use it for defense at all.
Yes, the hell you can.
that's it. Can you?
You can use it for defense. That's what I use it for. I don't use it for offensive pressure.
You can use you can pop Heat to stop somebody from doing something, but you can also do an armor move for that. You know, it's basically just an armor move. Basically.
Exactly. So why are you worried about a little Heat mechanic if you have other options to get out of it?
But the Heat mechanic is the thing that the reason why Tekken's having a problem right now because they've never had the Heat mechanic. The Heat mechanic is what's fucking up the game. I mean,
no, they're just not understanding how to use the damn mechanic
because they've never had it in the game before.
So let them learn. It's not that fucking hard.
But you also are complaining about how season 2 started. You know what I'm saying? So you can't have it both ways.
That had nothing to do with Heat at all. But it had everything to do with their stupid offense, which they just fixed 90% of it. And you can't sit here and say that it wasn't fucking terrible when you just saw that fucking Laws had a plus 20 fucking 8 move.
But if there was no Heat, you wouldn't have to adjust a lot of that stuff. The Heat was the problem for a lot of people.
Because you're stuck with offense and you have no defense to get the fuck out.
You have a
plus 28. I dare you to try to get out of something that's plus 28.
You can't.
Exactly my point. So you can use Heat now because it's plus 8.
No,
listen, I'm not disagreeing with you that
he's trying to say
they're
trying to say to use the Heat as a more like a defensive like countermeasure for certain moves.
That's all I'm saying.
You can use it as a defensive. You just need to figure out how to use it. I know how to do it, so why can't nobody else can?
Yo, she's got a new movie.
I'm saying, but popping Heat is the only way to use it as a defensive mechanic, right?
Yes, you still have to pop it.
But I'm saying I'm saying the initial popping of Heat is the only way that you can use it as a defensive mechanic, like a get off me button.
Yeah, that's so is burst, so is combo breakers and killer instinct. Get off me buttons. What are you getting at? They're all get off me buttons. Like, I'm not understanding what you're trying to say.
Like right now, I get off me what I just did to you.
They're literally all get off me buttons.
I'm chewing on what you're talking about. You sometimes, Shadow, we got to get you to, yell a little bit for you to get your thoughts out to the people.
Your blood pumping, dog.
Why would you want me to yell? I'd rather have a standard conversation than to bark at somebody.
Because you say things in your head.
Shadow,
you say things in your head that I think you think you've told everybody what you're thinking about, but you haven't. So we got it all out now. So you make a good point. You make a good point by the fact that it is like a get off me button, but it's not a specific.
I think it's just a small change.
Yeah, he makes a good point.
It's not major.
I wish there was a way. I'm not saying I'm not saying a counter. It doesn't have to be a. I wish there was something. Check this out. This is just an idea, right? What if you're in? So what if you're? You could some way, while you're getting comboed, right? You're getting looped. Use your meter to take less damage.
Yo, her moves are kind of.
Have you ever played Injustice 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you forget the flip out mechanic that was complete shit?
No. Not the flip out mechanic. Not the flip out mechanic. I'm talking about you get the entire combo. You get the entire combo.
You want to know what else game already implemented something like that and it didn't work? Melty Blood.
MK.
Melty Blood had a hidden mechanic where every time you got hit, you tap the button with them to reduce the damage.
No. Listen to what I'm saying, and that would work too. So what if you could say you got me in like a combo, right? It's like a death combo. I know I'm gonna die. You get the combo, but I sacrifice all my meter that I have to do half of the damage of what you would do.
I just said it. There was already something that was implemented like that, and that was in Melty Blood.
Yeah, I think they. I don't like I said. My fix, of course. I'm a first time Tekken player, so take it with a grain of salt, of course, from a young buck in the Tekken world. But like the meter, I feel like there should be some kind of V reversal type situation that you could use your meter for. In every other game, you have it, and you don't have it in this one.
You guys are asking way too much for a mechanic that already has defensive and offensive options already built in it.
Well, yeah, but you can improve that, Shadow.
No, you can't. You have a super aggressive by doing certain moves. You pop it and gain health back, or you can just straight up pop it and then just have an advantage.
I knew you have more information out of it.
And we're just spitballing here, right? What about this? When you pop it, right? Sacrifice all the heat, your heat meter just to get distance from the opponent.
Why would you want to do that when you already have something that can get you right back in the business?
Well, if you're getting comboed, you want to get away from the character. You don't want to be up on them. You want to get distance from them.
But look what game you're playing, and you're talking about getting away from.
You want to create in any game. You want to create distance.
This ain't Street Fighter, my guy.
In any fighting game, creating distance.
I got another thing. How would the heat meter be in a way for this game? Like, say that if you use a heat meter, I don't know what game that did it. It was like I don't remember. It was one fighting game that's probably did it. I don't know. When I was a kid, that you can use your heat meter to like at least game like I'll say 20% of your health.
You get that in this game just for popping it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's kind of. I mean, you kind of get that back in Tekken because you have what they call it. You have your chip damage. So
you have specific moves that give you a
for certain characters
that gives you heat.
Yeah.
So, like for instance, if I want to get health back, with Victor, and I'm like, I see a bunch of gray health.
Yeah.
I'm gonna step back with one backdash, let you whip, and I'm hit forward to 2, and it automatically puts me in heat, and then dashes me forward and makes me plus 12. What's so wrong with that's a defensive option because I just used my head.
But that's a defensive option by using offense.
Again, you were just sitting here talking about heat needing a defensive option, and I just told you a defensive option. On top of that, is if you're being pressured way too damn hard. Listen, if you pressure way too damn hard, if they ever know anything that's over the 10 fucking frames, you just pop heat and you additionally get armor. And you can just get yourself out of a situation.
Yes, but as a Tekken player, you're training me to only use my offense as my defense. I have no specifically defensive thing. I only have offense. I have to use offense for my offense and offense for my defense. You get what I'm saying?
How do you think a boxer does his defense?
I'm talking about
just Tekken. His fucking head. But I'm telling you in general. How do you think a boxer sways? So it's just the same concept. It is literally the same concept. You throw a jab, I sidestep, and I punch you dead in your mouth. Same concept. That is a defensive option on top of an offensive option.
But there is no specific, besides blocking, there is no specific defensive mechanic in the game.
What other option do you guys want him to give you a fucking binky?
Yep. Man, I want my hand to be held.
If that'll get me out of a loop, I'll take it.
No, it's called learn to do the basic bullshit in the game.
But I want my hand to be held, dog.
If you want your hands to be held, and you know, fucking play modern on Street Fighter 6.
And you know what?
No, man.
What's happening right? This whole conversation right now is a Tekken person who's played Tekken for years versus somebody who's just coming in. This is the newbie versus old head concept right here, where we're talking about right now.
No way.
It is.
No, he's actually being serious. I've been playing Tekken for years.
I'm saying and probably if I've been playing Tekken for years, I would have your same answers. But what I'm saying is, like, you can see, but this is the whole problem right here. Like, they're trying to make a game for me and still want you to still play it.
Why'd you burn it so quick?
Wow. All right. Basically, that's gonna be it, man. I gotta get up out of here in a second. Final thoughts for anybody. Shout out to Wolf coming through, Luna. Appreciate you. Hopefully, see you on the next one too. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to get you on that group chat. Final thoughts? Anybody want to say anything about anything?
Yeah, stop bitching about fucking heat.
No, we're not doing none of that.
My point still stands.
We gotta always complain about it until they actually do something good for it.
The thing is, even with me being an old head, and this is a new mechanic, I gotten used to heat. It's not heat that's giving me the problem. It's certain plus frames that give me a problem.
Yeah,
that's exactly why people sit here and abuse frames.
So why are you worried about something that abuses frames? Then other than a heat mechanic that only gives you a little bit of fucking pressure.
So I feel like they should just tone down on the frames. That's what they should do.
So we have to depend.
That heat has been toned down so many damn times. It's not even funny.
So we have to depend on depend on the developers to make changes to characters versus overall. So leave heat. It would be better if they did micro changes to specific characters than overall changes to the gameplay mechanics.
Then overall changes to heat. Just heat is already.
I mean, heat is the gameplay mechanic. Heat is Tekken 8.
And it is also limited. You fail to realize like most of the shit that people do is limited with the heat.
Yeah,
they got like special moves, but like you can only use them twice. There goes your heat.
Yeah, exactly.
Pop heat, you lose half of it. If you do it the way you do it standardly, by actually performing a standard hit, then you get your full bar. But you only get to do that move twice.
But the Tekken devs, up to this point, I mean, they're going to change it. But up to this point, they've been making sweeping changes to the entire like gameplay mechanic instead of like cutting the individual character who is the problem. You know what I'm saying? So I think if they do more
exactly my point. So instead of worrying about just the heat mechanic, worry about the character itself.
Frames. I think that's the play they need to understand.
Now here's the thing. Yes, heat gives you advantage on frames. You got it? Mm-hmm. But that's the only offensive mechanic that you can use for advantage.
Yeah. So I think.
So why are you going to take away that mechanic when it was supposed to be built that way?
So just to reiterate, I'm not talking about taking away the mechanic. What I'm saying is that if they were going, I guess let me say this for understanding purposes. Like if they were going to make sweeping adjustments to the entire gameplay for everybody, right? I think the defensive mechanic in heat would be a thing they might want to do. But if they're going
they already did that. They reduced the chip. And the chip was the most obnoxious shit in heat. So why is everybody still bitching about heat when it barely does anything except give you advantage on certain things?
They should definitely not take heat out. Heat is Tekken 8. Like there's it's the thing that got everybody playing it. You know what I'm saying? But if you're gonna make sweeping changes to it and make it and overpower it, you got to make something that can counter it. You know what I'm saying? And I guess you counter
that is true. I'll say shout out that is true because we did have no counters and like certain games that we didn't like Destiny, for instance. We didn't have any counters for like stasis or strand. You feel me?
Yes, I understand that, but that's I hate to be a dickhead when I say this.
Yeah,
you can't put a shooter with a fighter at all.
But Shadow's basically saying
you cannot do any type of reference between a shooter and a fighter.
Yeah,
I'm saying say that like okay, let's say Marvel vs. Capcom. Then we got what's that Taskmaster?
Yeah.
What would you need to do that for a counter for him?
Yeah,
what character would you pick for a counter?
I can pick Doom or Virgil. There you go.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like in that game, there's mechanics that use your meter to like reverse what can be done. I get what you're saying basically, but Shadow's basically saying that you can use your heat to counter other people's heat.
Yes.
And the only thing I was putting as a mind thought is basically like for the entire game, if I could sacrifice my offense to do something defensive in heat, I don't know what that would be. Not a dev, but just talking out loud. You know what I'm saying? But it's points made on each side, and if developers do what they said they're going to do, and they go into each character and they nerf and buff each character to make them playable the way they want to, then if y'all believe that's something they haven't done that to this point yet. So I don't know if they will actually do it, but they say they will. So we'll see.